Let me ask you something simple, something so obvious that you've probably never questioned it. Where do trees come from? Not in a poetic way, not in a philosophical way. I mean physically, literally. Where does a tree come from? Your brain already answered, didn't it? From the ground. Of course it does. You've seen it 1,000 times. A seed goes into the soil, water is added, time passes, something green pushes upward, it grows, it thickens, it becomes a tree. Simple, so simple that it almost feels stupid to question it. But here's where things start to crack, because if you slow down just a little and actually look at what's happening, something doesn't add up, not even close. Picture a massive tree, not a small one, not something in a backyard. I'm talking about a fully grown, towering giant, thick trunk, heavy branches, thousands of leaves, something that has been standing there longer than you've been alive. Now imagine cutting it down, not because you want to, but because you want to understand it. You weigh it, and you realize something shocking. This thing weighs thousands of pounds. Thousands. All of that mass, all of that solid matter, all of that structure, did not exist before. A long time ago, this entire tree was just a tiny seed. So now the question changes. Not where do trees come from, but where did all of that mass come from? Not vaguely, not emotionally, physically. Where did those thousands of pounds of matter come from? And your brain again jumps in with an answer. The soil. It feels right. It sounds right. Roots go into the ground. They absorb nutrients. Those nutrients become the tree. Done. Case closed. Except, it's wrong. Completely wrong. And this is where everything begins to unravel. Because when scientists actually tested this idea, they found something that should have stopped everyone in their tracks. An experiment was done. Simple. Elegant. Brutal in its clarity. A small tree was planted in a measured amount of dry soil. Everything was controlled. Nothing was added except water. It was allowed to grow for years. And then everything was measured again. The tree had gained a massive amount of weight. But the soil, almost nothing had changed. Let that sink in. The tree became heavy. The soil did not become lighter. So the mass did not come from the soil, which means the most obvious explanation collapses. And now you're left with something uncomfortable. A massive object, a clear increase in matter, and no visible source. This is where most people stop thinking. Because it's easier. Your brain says there must be some complicated explanation, and then it moves on. But don't do that. Stay here. Because what you're looking at isn't a small gap in knowledge. It's a crack in how you understand reality. You are looking at matter appearing without an obvious source. So try again. If not the soil, then what? Water. That has to be it. Trees drink constantly. Water flows through them every single day. You can imagine it, you can visualize it. Water goes in. Tree grows. That feels satisfying. Clean, logical, complete, except it's also wrong. Water doesn't explain the mass. Not even close. Because water is incredibly simple at the molecular level. It's made of hydrogen and oxygen. And when a tree processes water, most of it doesn't even stay in the tree in a meaningful way. It moves through. It evaporates. It exits. And more importantly, water is not what wood is made of. Wood isn't hydrogen. Wood isn't oxygen. Wood is something else entirely. Carbon. That's the key. Carbon is the backbone of everything organic. Every fiber, every structure, every cell wall. If you could break a tree down to its essence, you'd find that a huge portion of its mass is carbon. Dense, solid carbon-based structures. So now the problem becomes even sharper. If the tree is mostly carbon, where did the carbon come from? Not the soil. There isn't enough. Not the water. It doesn't contain it in the right form. So now you're stuck. A massive structure built from a specific element with no obvious source. And this is the moment where everything flips. Because the answer is not below the tree. It's above it. It's around it. It's everywhere. The mass of a tree comes from the air. Yes, the air. Invisible, weightless looking, ignored air. That's where the tree is built from. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because what you're really looking at is something extraordinary. You're looking at air becoming solid. Think about that. A gas becoming a structure you can touch. Something invisible becoming something you can sit on, build with, burn, And the mechanism behind it is even more insane than the result. Every leaf on a tree is not just decoration, it's a machine, a microscopic factory. On the surface of that leaf are tiny openings, so small you'll never notice them. Through these openings, something invisible enters, a gas, carbon dioxide, a tiny fraction of the air around you. You're breathing it out right now without even thinking, and the tree is pulling it in, not randomly, not passively, precisely, deliberately. It takes that molecule and breaks it apart. It separates the carbon, keeps it, and releases the rest. That carbon is then used like raw material, atom by atom, bond by bond, constructed into something new, something solid, something stable, something real. This is not metaphor. This is not philosophical. This is physical construction. The tree is literally building itself out of air, and it's doing it using energy from the sun. Light hits the leaf. Energy is absorbed. That energy is used to rearrange matter, to take something diffuse and concentrate it, to take something invisible and make it tangible. That's what growth actually is. Not creation, reorganization. And suddenly, everything changes. Because now when you look at a tree, you're not seeing something that came from the ground. You're seeing something that came from the sky, from the atmosphere, from the invisible. And it doesn't stop there. Because if you follow that carbon, if you trace it forward, it leads somewhere unexpected. It leads to you. Because here's the part most people never fully process. You are made of the same thing. Not metaphorically, literally. The carbon in your body, the structure of your muscles, the framework of your cells, all of it came from the same place, the air. At some point, that carbon was floating freely in the atmosphere, invisible, unnoticed, meaningless. Then a plant captured it, just like a tree. It pulled it in, broke it apart, rebuilt it into something solid. That carbon became part of a leaf, or a fruit, or a grain, and then something else happened. That plant was eaten, maybe by an animal, maybe directly by a human, and that carbon moved again, from plant to body, from atmosphere to biology, from invisible to you. Right now, as you're listening to this, there are atoms inside your body that were once floating in the sky, atoms that passed through leaves, through forests, through other organisms. You are not separate from that process. You are part of it, a temporary arrangement of recycled matter, and that realization, if you really sit with it, does something strange to your perception, because suddenly the boundary between you and everything else starts to blur. You stop being a fixed object and start being a process, a flow, a momentary structure in a much larger cycle. And the same is true for trees. They are not static objects. They are active transformations. They are taking in matter, reorganizing it, holding it for a while, and eventually releasing it back. Because here's the other side of the story. Trees don't just build from the air, they return to it. When a tree burns, it doesn't disappear, it transforms. The solid structure breaks apart, the bonds holding it together collapse, and the carbon that was once locked into wood is released back into the atmosphere, back into the invisible, back into the same pool it came from. Nothing is lost, nothing is created from nothing, everything is rearranged, again and again, and this is happening on a scale that is almost impossible to grasp. Every second across the entire planet, billions of tiny exchanges are happening, leaves pulling in carbon, air giving it up, organisms building themselves, breaking down, releasing, recycling. It is a continuous loop, a planetary system of matter in motion, and you are inside it, participating in it, whether you realize it or not. Take a breath, right now. That oxygen you just inhaled was released by a plant. That carbon you exhale will be captured by another. You are connected to every tree on this planet through that exchange. Directly, physically, constantly. And if you zoom out even further, the story becomes even more insane, because carbon itself didn't start here. It wasn't born on Earth. It was forged in something far more violent, far more extreme, inside stars, deep in their cores. Under immense pressure and temperature, lighter elements fused together, and carbon was created. Then those stars died, exploded, scattered their contents across space, and those particles traveled, for millions of years, until they became part of new systems, new planets, including this one. So when you look at a tree, you're not just looking at air turned solid, you're looking at stardust, reassembled, reorganized, given form by sunlight, held together by invisible forces, and that realization shifts something fundamental, because it forces you to confront a strange truth. The difference between solid and invisible is not existence, it's arrangement. Air feels like nothing, wood feels like something, but at the deepest level, they are made of the same stuff. The only difference is how that stuff is organized, how tightly it's held, how energy is being applied to structure it, and that means something profound. What you perceive as nothing is not nothing. It's potential, it's material waiting to be shaped, waiting to be organized, waiting to become something else. A tree, a body, a structure, a moment, and all it takes is energy. That's the real driver behind everything you're seeing. Not matter alone, but energy acting on matter. The sun sends energy, plants capture it, use it to rearrange atoms, to build complexity, to create structure. Without that energy, nothing happens. No growth, no life, no transformation. So when you see a tree, you are not just seeing matter. You are seeing energy, frozen into form. You are seeing sunlight, captured and stored. You are seeing time, compressed into structure. And suddenly, the world doesn't look the same anymore, because what once seemed simple becomes almost impossible to ignore. A tree is not just a tree, it is a process, a system, a transformation, a bridge between the invisible and the visible. And so are you. Which raises a final thought, one that most people never stop to consider. If everything solid around you was once invisible, if everything you are was once floating in the air, then what you call reality might not be what it seems. Because maybe, just maybe, you're not surrounded by empty space. You're surrounded by material, waiting for its next form, waiting for its next structure, waiting for its next transformation. And if that's true, then the line between nothing and something was never really there at all. And if that's true, then something even stranger begins to emerge, because now the question is no longer just about trees, it's about everything. Look around you, your desk, your phone, the walls around you, the ground beneath your feet. They all feel solid, permanent, fixed. But now you know something most people never fully realize. Every single one of those things is just matter, arranged. That's it. Different patterns, different structures, different densities, but fundamentally the same building blocks. And that means something unsettling. The difference between a tree and the air around it is not what they are made of, it's how they are organized. Think about that carefully, because your intuition tells you something very different. It tells you that solid things are real, and invisible things are empty. But reality doesn't work that way. A gas is not nothing, it's just matter that's spread out, less dense, more chaotic, less organized. While something like wood is that same matter, locked into place, structured, held together by energy. So when you touch a tree trunk, you're not touching something fundamentally different from air. You're touching air that has been captured, compressed and organized. That's the difference. Nothing more. And once you see it this way, the world starts to feel almost unstable, not physically, but conceptually, because the solid ground beneath you no longer feels like an absolute. It feels like a temporary state, a snapshot of matter in one particular arrangement. And arrangements can change. They always do. That tree you see standing today wasn't always there, and it won't always be there. It's part of a cycle, a flow, a continuous transformation, and you can actually watch this transformation happen if you pay attention. Imagine a piece of wood in a fire. At first it looks like it's being destroyed, consumed, reduced to ash, but that's not what's really happening. What's happening is reversal. The structure is breaking apart. The bonds holding the carbon together are collapsing, and that carbon is returning to the air, becoming invisible again. What was once solid becomes gas, right in front of your eyes. And the only reason it feels like destruction is because your senses can no longer track it. You can't see the carbon dioxide spreading into the air. You can't feel it mixing with the atmosphere. so your brain tells you it's gone. But it's not gone. It's just changed form. And that same process is happening everywhere, all the time. Leaves fall, they decay, microorganisms break them down, carbon is released back into the atmosphere, then another plant captures it, builds something new, and the cycle continues, endlessly, and you're inside that loop, whether you notice it or not, because every time you eat, you are participating in this transformation. You are taking in organized matter, breaking it down, rebuilding it into yourself. You are restructuring carbon, rearranging atoms, maintaining your form, temporarily, until eventually that structure changes again, because it always does. Nothing stays fixed, nothing remains in one arrangement forever, not trees, not air, not you. And that might sound unsettling at first, but it also reveals something incredible, because it means you are not a static object. You are a dynamic process, a constantly updating structure, a pattern that maintains itself for a while before changing, and that's exactly what a tree is too. A tree isn't just sitting there frozen in time, it's constantly exchanging matter with its environment, taking in, releasing, building, breaking down, every second. It's alive in the most literal sense, because it is changing, and that brings us to something even deeper, because if everything is just matter being rearranged, then what we call growth is not the creation of something new, it's the organization of something that already exists. Nothing is appearing out of nowhere. Nothing is being magically created. It's all transformation, reconfiguration, the same atoms over and over again, in different forms, different patterns, different structures, and energy is the key to all of it. Without energy, nothing moves, nothing changes, nothing reorganizes. The sun sends energy to Earth. Plants capture it, use it to build structure. Animals consume that structure, use the stored energy, and the cycle continues. Energy flows, matter follows. That's the system. Simple, but profound. And now, go back to the beginning, back to that simple question. Where do trees come from? You can't answer it the same way anymore, because now you know they don't come from the ground. They don't come from water. They don't even come from a single place. They emerge from a process, from interactions between air, light, and matter, from energy shaping structure, from invisible molecules being reorganized into something visible. A tree is not an object. It's an event, a slow, continuous event, taking place over years, decades, centuries, and when you see it that way, something shifts, because suddenly the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A forest is no longer just a collection of trees. It's a massive living system pulling matter from the sky, building structure, storing energy, and shaping the planet itself. Every leaf is part of that system, every branch, every trunk, and even you. You are not separate from it. You are part of the same story, the same cycle, the same transformation, which leads to one final realization, one that changes how you see everything. The world is not made of things. It's made of processes, of flows, of constant change. What you see as solid is just a temporary pause in that flow, a moment where matter is organized, before it changes again. And once you understand that, you can't unsee it, because now, when you look at a tree, you're not just seeing wood, you're seeing air, captured and transformed. You're seeing sunlight, turned into structure. You're seeing time, held together by invisible forces. And you realize you're looking at one of the most extraordinary transformations in the universe, happening silently, right in front of you, every single day,